Yo, what is up? Yo. Mic on, mic check. Welcome everyone to Tusk Talk Fridays, my favorite event, regardless of the current price. I love being able to speak with you guys and being able to articulate what's coming next and be able to give you all just a hint, an exposure of what I do on the back end. So that you guys know that I'm working hard for your investments. So welcome. I hope you all had an amazing week. I know that there's plenty to talk about. The PCP, of course, coming to a close over the course of the month. Glacier finance and the developments thus far. The NFT miners and the developments thus far. And some other things that we wanted to talk about. Mainly what I've posted in the announcements during that 6-point snippet. Let's see. Let me make sure that I have my volume down further for the bot so that I am not fighting over its... There we go. All right. Yeah. So welcome, everybody. A couple things that I want to do on this one is... obviously, I know that when the price is down, it's very hard to keep community engagement to a height, to the same degree that it was, right? Like we had 100 members in our Ask Me Anythings when the price was up, but people give up very fast in DeFi. But I love the community engagement, and I like to make this place as active and as fun as possible, and I think it is. And so whenever the price came down, I knew that we would have less active from a large majority of people. And that's just, I know that's nothing personal. I know that it just comes with the space. But I would like to try and engage members the best I can. I think we'll see a surge whenever Glacier comes out. I think we'll see a surge whenever the NFT miners come out. But you know, we might be in a lull period for just a hair, and that's okay. But you know, honestly, I would love some suggestions about things that we could do better to keep community engagement and make sure people are chatting. Whether it be more giveaways or if I need to personally be in the Discord more. I know that that's something I want to apologize for. I know in the last couple weeks that I have been, you know, more reserved to be in the Discord. And so I wanted to apologize for that. I had some personal stuff come up, and it's just been tough to balance everything that's going on with the amount of deadlines and stuff that we have kicking. So I apologize. It's not like me. I'll try and get back in the Discord and be active as I was before. But my main job is, of course, delivering products to you all as investors, not being in the Discord. But it is something that made us different, along with the YouTube videos and stuff. So I just wanted to get my apology out there for being lackluster in that. So, with that being said, let's go through some of the announcements. Of course, put your questions in the Ask Me Anything chat. Of course, we're going to do a giveaway. We'll do 10 Walrus shares, so it's worth 160 for a user that asked the best question, and then we'll do another 10 for another user that is here attending. So you got 1 in 31 chance, so it's pretty good. Let's see. Let's go over the tax structure for the PCP campaign has moved up. Make sure you check the deadlines of those dates. On the 12th, we'll go down to 30% tax. And then, of course, on the 16th, the 24%, and then all the way up until the 2nd of October, we will be in 0% tax. So a lot of people said that, why am I doing this? Why am I tapering it out and extending the pain? And the pain that I know that they're talking about is just like people selling walrus. I assume at these prices, it wouldn't be as lucrative as for an investor to sell out of, but I know that it will happen to some degree. The reason I tapered it off is so that we wouldn't have mass panic from any massive sell-offs, and so that people have to weigh out if they want to give the Treasury some of that tax money. Considering that we've pretty much given a risk-free investment, as risk-free as you can be in DeFi for these amazing yields that we've been giving for almost 3 weeks now, I felt like it was imperative that we do some kind of structure where we reduce the taxes to allow people to get out that want it to be more liquid at the cost of paying the Treasury. I think we calculated if you were in day one, I think you were getting about 40% on your investment, and it was completely risk-free. So if you wait for a month, you've pretty much gotten a risk-free investment, and you're also getting walrus at a heavily discounted price. So in my opinion, the PCP was extremely generous. I wish it would have worked better, but it didn't. And that's okay. We'll just pivot and make more moves and start owning more of our own tokens. So right now I'm in the process of really just trying to own the most protocol tokens as humanly possible in the Treasury. And so that is pretty much how I see it. Things with like the NFT miner that we'll talk about and other things like that, we will start acquiring as many assets as we can in the Treasury, and pretty much drop the supply in the open market. It may not start grand, but I think at the end of it, it will be. So PCP tax, that is talked about. Let's see. So I guess the first topic we do have is the KDA mining NFTs. So, if you have any questions, be sure to post them in the chat specific to the NFTs. But I'll speak a little bit about it. I think I talked about it a little bit last time, but it was more rushed than it was, after we've refined it. So firstly, to encompass everything that I'm about to talk about is that I now have a legal team. I now have a lawyer on retainer for my safety, of course, but also I really think that it opens the doors to bigger investors and bigger protocols because now I have legal counsel, and everything I do is structured via contracts and litigation opportunities with other companies that were to treat us wrong. So like with the miners, the reason that it's been delayed is because I wanted this legal counsel because he is going to produce an affidavit to the individual C17. And this is nothing against him. This is for liability purposes on this. So everything will be above board. Both parties, both LLCs will be able to come together on this and produce like actual documentation about the purchases of the, it protects both the asses. But it allows you all to see without any kind of veil, like, hey, this is legit. Hey, he is purchasing these miners. Here's this purchase agreement. Here's the miners. Here's the lease agreement. Things like that. And then if things get dicey and say he wants to exit here in a year or two, then we have, legal litigation to take care of. And that's done, via my lawyer now. So it really helps also, like whenever I approach Ava Labs, which I will be doing very shortly, to, procure anything for Glacier, you know, that they'll take me a lot more serious now that I say, well, let me let my lawyer look over it. Let me get a legal contract. It really gives a lot of validity to Frozen Walrus and all of the productions under it. So I'm very happy about that. So the KDA miners, you all saw it. I just produced the snippet of the white paper. I still have to get with him to get everything else finalized before we really get into the legal documentation of it. But he already has the leasing agreement. He's already taken that first step. And so he will start working with me to create this white paper so that you all can see the full scale of what it can be and what it is. And then I'll also, whenever I detail the white paper, I want there to be the giveaways that are during the mints. So the first 500 mints, we do a giveaway of like $10,000 or something. And we have like metrics to hit throughout. So we're going to detail that. And then I also want to make sure you all know where every dollar goes to the best extent of my knowledge. So like if we have $200,000 of USDC, where is that going? How much is going to the miners? How much is going to upfront cost? How much is going to, you know, every single thing I want solidified for you all so that nobody has to question, you know, what's going to happen. You all will know it and you can make your best decision thus far. Since the miners are KDA, is there a plan to ever bridge the Kadena ecosystem to Avalanche? I think that C17 was talking that it was coming, that there's a local Ethereum bridge, but there isn't an Avalanche, but there could be soon. But we are going to get the assets on Avalanche whenever we compound, and if people choose to claim that month, then we'll give it out in assets on Avalanche. So mainly what these NFTs are, there's 10,000 of them. There is 4 phases, 2,500 each phase. So there will be 4 total phases. You will be minting with Walrus Share LP. The prices will be structured with $100 for the starter for phase 1, 125 for phase 2, 150 for phase 3, and 200 for phase 4. It'll give us a total in USDC of about 700,000 right around. And if we mint out, we could technically have 3 farms, and each farm consists of 18 KD6 miners. I know a lot of people have questions about the KD6 miners and the hash rates and stuff like that. Please reserve those specific questions for the actual dedicated Ask Me Anything that I'm going to do with C17 for you all, that you all can ask any questions about the miners in general. Even now is going to get like neon signs of Frozen Walrus for the actual place, and if people want to travel there and look at the Frozen Walrus miners, it will be there available under that. You know, anybody that holds the NFT can like come view it. So it's I know it's small, but I just want it to be known that there will be options like that are kind of cool. I don't have a launch date for the NFTs. I'm not trying to spread myself too thin. You know, I know what I want it to do, and if we mint out with this current structure, it'll be right around $1.4 million in total value. And if you look at the market cap of Walrus Share, it's absolute insanity to look at what an influx of that much cash would do. And this isn't like one of those things that I'm like saying that it's going to pump, but it will eventually tighten up the supply so much that the treasury will own most of the float. And it may take a while, right? We may not mint out phase 1 for 2 months. It's completely normal. And I'm okay with that for a slower mint. I think it'll be much more fun and engaging, and it'll keep people engaged for longer. Like, oh, look, we almost got this many NFTs. And this is a project that can stand on its own without any involvement from Frozen Walrus or the treasury. There's no upkeep other than, of course, the upkeep of the miners, which is all disclosed in the document. But yeah, it's something I'm very excited about. I think KDA has a lot of potential. I mean, everything in the bear market looks like shit, but I think KDA has some really good tech, and I don't think proof of work is going anywhere. It's much more secure than proof of stake. I know that it leaves an energy footprint, but New Zealand does have a lot of renewable energy resources, and I think that the energy cost will remain pretty good. So anyway, that's kind of what.
Are you ready for some questions?
Yeah, let's get some questions dedicated to the NFTs, if you have them.
Just NFT. Yeah, I've got a shit ton. Sabri007 wants to know: Will there only be Kadena mining, or or might this be expanded to other coins in the future as well?
I think he said that they are. Let me look at the terminology he used before I speak ridiculous. Let me find it. He said, let's see. Also, lend a bit of thought to your NFTs being a hash rate ETF. Litecoin, Dogecoin, Kadena are the most profitable to mine. His version is what he calls hash rate agnostic. So there is a potential for different coins. Is pretty much what he was saying. So yes, there will be an option to do different. Are you going to be able to purchase the miners at the end of the first 2,500 NFTs? Yes. We will have our first form.
Chink.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Chink will fix it. Are we buying NFTs with WShare LP or as is, or on the new 80/20 LPs?
It'll likely be as is, so that we don't have to wait for Glacier, but we might end up accepting both at the end of it. But there will be a liquidity migration, so at that point we may have to pause minting, allow the migration, and then start with the 80/20, which is even better because that'll be more of our float. But we may have to structure it different. I don't know yet. But yeah, for now it'll be just the regular 50/50.
All right, just me. I'm happy about the path taken with NFT mining. However, there are several mining NFT projects starting at the moment. Would be nice to know what differs in approach taken by the Frozen Walrus and the other projects.
So to my knowledge, there's only one other KDA miner NFT, and it's called KDA Miners Club, I think. So that makes us a little bit different that we're using KDA. Also, most of them focus on Ethereum or Bitcoin, and the difficulty rate of those are much higher. So we're able to acquire much more KDA early on. And then also, it's a Tomb Fork launching it. And, we have the ability to also start like a small community fund through compounding and be able to invest other places. What else?
All right. Let me see here. Has the GH per second been calculated for each NFT? I'd like to know the earning potential for the NFT.
Yeah, I shared a little bit of it last week, but I can share it again. 1 second. I'll pull up his document that he has for me. Where is it at? Let me scroll up in our chat here. We've been talking a lot. Here we go. Here's the revenue model, and it should, so the hash rate is TH per second. 1 KD6 SE miner gives out 25.3, and one farm, which is what we will be buying, our first thing is buying one farm full of 18 KD6 miners will give us 455. I think that's terahash per second, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that's what we're getting.
All right. Let's see here. If we buy in at stage 1, how long until the miners are bought and set up and we start receiving rewards?
So I think it's pretty average to do this, but whenever we actually buy the miners, we'll probably have a lock period of no voting for the first 3 to 6 months, just so that we can compound back into it and try and get as many farms, or start a community fund with that KDA, so that we can start investing in other places. So I would say minimum 3 months, you would start being able to have the potential to earn. But obviously it's due to a community vote every single month, whether we compound or we distribute those rewards.
Okay, hold on. I think. Have there been any updates on Project 79 or our investment in that opportunity?
There hasn't been any updates. I haven't checked our affiliate link in quite some time, but it didn't seem like we got a lot of interest, which is weird because it's a really good product. So, I set the affiliate link out there. I didn't shill it a bunch, but I probably should have, because I think it is a good investment. but it's something that we can invest in with the community fund of the KDA miners.
And is there a projected date for the NFT collection? And
No projected date, but I'm thinking 1 to 2 weeks. It just really depends when the legal documents come out. And I think that my lawyer said it would take about like 2 to 3 days to set up a affidavit for him to sign. Avery quit, man. Fuck you. This motherfucker, dude.
He kills me. How will the miners power themselves if we have a major downtrend? Any backup plans?
I don't know what that means. I guess I don't understand the question to the degree of what you're asking. That guy clearly not a real lawyer. Ask it in a different way, I guess, so that I can understand it.
Will the miners be using a pool to mine?
No, it's a proof of work. So it use no, I'm sorry. It does not. The difficulty is so low that there isn't like a community pool of these miners going on right now. To my knowledge, there may be, but we would be able to power it ourselves and do everything in house. So we wouldn't do any kind of. We would get all of the profits. We wouldn't be sharing it with any company.
That's all my NFT questions thus far.
Perfect. All right, so Glacier Finance is the next topic. So if any of you have questions on Glacier Finance specifically, go ahead and post them. But we'll go ahead and get into where we're at with it. So currently, we are looking to fork Beethoven 1-to-1 like at launch, but the tokenomic structure is actually going to be drastically, in my opinion, different because I have Owen on the team and Owen's godsend in tokenomics. So he thinks that there could be a lot more intuitive features, especially with just not locking and voting mechanism for Glacier and having a lot more lucrative options for the investor to use these Glacier tokens. Because realistically, locking the Glacier token for voting power is really most beneficial to protocols that are launching their own. Yeah, I agree, Avery. But you know, the main thing that Owen describes it as is that these protocols that are launching on Glacier have the most incentive to lock in Glacier tokens and then vote for boosting their pools. So that's kind of where boost wars come into play. But we have a couple lucrative options for smaller investors, and we also have another approach that we're going to potentially be looking into for users that are staking into that are doing for voting rights, that you don't get Glacier tokens, but you may get something else that doesn't affect the ecosystem and probably benefits you as like it would be like I don't want to say that word, so I won't say that word. It'll be like you receive like L1 assets regardless from the fees, which is pretty much what lock staking incentive is that they buy back the Glacier token. So yeah. So whenever you lock your staking in, you'll be receiving part of the protocol's revenue, which is really cool. And most of the time you would get it in the Glacier token or the Beats token or whatever else. But we have a thought on doing it a little bit different. Obviously that's not finalized, but that's an approach that me and Owen are discussing. So right now we're looking at solidifying the docs, which I have most of them done. It's setting up on my screen right now. It's what I've been working on. We have to add some of the tokenomic structure that Owen's been working on to make it a little bit different than what you've seen with Beethoven and stuff, and how we're going to launch it. And then what else do we have? Oh, we have to set up how Angel or the early investors are going to what they're going to be receiving. So it's not going to be like everything that angel investors push into. Like anything you buy, you'll of course get a premium, but it is going to be a heavier lock because we are really looking to develop this DEX into a blue chip. Quite honestly, like I think it actually can be. The tech is not on Avalanche right now, and I think that we have a very, very premium spot and community to set the foundation to make it very successful. And that's why I'm looking to get with Yeti, which I have been in talks with Yeti. They're very interested, and other blue chips. And then Ava Labs, of course. Like, I'm trying to bring in the big boys, and really make Glacier Finance something special. So yeah, so we have to really be on our P's and Q's and make sure that we're developing the right way, from the ground up, and making sure that the tokenomics work in favor of investors. So that's really what we're doing right now. We have to solidify a bunch of stuff on the team end, how intricate Avery and the boys are going to be into our team, and things like that. So it's going really well. There's been some days that we've got more work done and some days that we got less work done. But all together, I think that we're moving really well. And I'm very excited for Glacier. I think it's going to be a really, really cool product. And the 80s theme came out so fucking phenomenal. I'm so proud of myself, to be honest, that I've produced the front end like this. Also, with that, speaking of front end, Jumpman is still working on getting everything linked up with the front end that we've received from the designer. But he's been pushed back with the PCP problem, with getting the original fork of Beethoven so we can start editing the tokenomic structures. And yeah, also, speaking of the pool names, well, nobody really spoke about the pool names, but it was my thought last night, that I want to do really like wonky 80s theme movies, pool themes. So like Back to the Future pool that consists of X, Y, and Z, and then different 80s themes and tropes that we can do to make it kind of fun. Yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun with it. I am really excited for everything that's to do with Glacier, and I think it's going to be a hell of a product for Frozen Walrus. And of course, we'll find a way to make it revenue for our treasury in Frozen Walrus, since it is a Frozen Walrus product. Yeah, so does anybody have any questions about Glacier that maybe I can drill in on a little bit if anybody has questions about it? Dylan, did you see anything?
Well, yeah. All right, let's see here. With moving liquidity over to Glacier and Magic doing its own liquidity, what are the future plans of the Magic Receipt token for the boardroom?
The same that it was. It'll just be selling off Glacier tokens rather than as it stands right now. My thought is that we'll do another Magic farm specifically for the new Walrus share pool in Glacier Finance, which will produce Glacier tokens, and then Magic farms can sell that and increase the Walrus share position, which is really cool. And it won't impact Walrus share price, so you are literally yielding with no downside to your investment. Of course, obviously price changes, but I'm saying right now as it stands, the Walrus share in Magic Farms does sell a little bit of the Walrus share, but in this circumstance it wouldn't, and you get a lot more access to the upside of Walrus share. So I really feel like this is the biggest win-win-win as an investor, that you'll have a yielding token in the boardroom, and it looks, it'll continue to grow no matter. And then you also will of course get Narwhal or Walrus wherever you're staked into.
All right. Not so savvy. What's the view on liquid staking, and have we ever considered providing it alongside Glacier?
I assume you mean like Liquid Driver, like that protocol. I haven't looked into it. I do know that they're good guys. I think Owen says they're great guys, but I haven't looked into liquid staking.
All right. Let's see here. And another question from Not So Savvy. Will we be allowing others to create their own pools on the balancer?
Of course, yeah. It's part of the narrative of a balancer pool, that anybody can try and get their token set up on there, and you can get voted on to see if you want to launch that pool to a pool that can be boosted by Glacier emissions, and we get all the fees. So pretty cool. But yeah, that's an intricate feature of the balancer decks.
Could you perhaps talk a bit about the idea behind swapping over boardroom to LP mode and the actual benefits of using 80/20, the W share LP on Glacier 5 versus using 50/50 W share LP?
Yeah, so I'm thinking like 6 months down the road, if the only way to be an investor in Frozen Walrus is liquidity, then you deepen the liquidity and you are able to take healthy profits regardless. Currently, the trend is if we lose peg, Walrus share deflates in value heavily. But with this method, you get the added benefit of not feeling like you need to move your position. And if everybody in mass thinks that way and does that, then everybody's just yielding off of their walrus share and wait for peg, which is exactly how it should be. You should just like that's part of the Cineworks model is that you wait until you're above peg and you get some of those profits. It's not supposed to happen every day, but now you as an investor get a lucrative opportunity of building a bag while you're also waiting for that Cineworks model to start working when we're above 1.01. So that's really the main benefit I see to adding LP. And then also with an 80-20 pool, you of course do get more impermanent loss because there is less USDC in the pool, but you get a huge potential upside and also a huge potential downside. But for people that are holding walrus share in the boardroom anyway, you actually get added benefits of being a little bit padded by USDC.
That is, I've got other questions, but that is all the Glacier ones I'm seeing.
Cool. Someone said, would you be interested in looking at using other magic receipt tokens for staking in the regular farms? No, I feel like that's double dipping because you're getting rewards and then selling those rewards. That's what magic does. So we probably wouldn't do it like that. But I don't know yet. I guess really the sky's the limit once we own our own liquidity. Yeah, agreed. There's so many inception moments that you can have with owning your own liquidity and having two different models being able to yield off of your tokens. So you'll have Glacier token emissions, and then you'll also have Walrus share emissions. So there's a ton of ways we can really play. Protocol owned liquidity, deposit rewards to stakers would be pretty cool. So yeah, I guess the next step is liquidity migration. So obviously I've talked about it a couple times, and what does it mean? It means that currently we stand to hold all of our liquidity on Glacier rather than on Trader Joe. And the main benefit is that we're able to boost our own pools whenever we want. We have access to where the fees go. We as a protocol can start delivering more features now that we own our own liquidity. It's really nice. And it opens a lot of doors to the potential of using these liquidity tokens in a lot of different ways in the protocol. Yeah, so someone said, have you seen the Equinox DEX that was released by the Ames Tomb Fork and what it did to their peg token? I don't think that I don't think that you're realizing the causation of the two or the difference. But I do understand what you're saying. I think that there's a couple different approaches to that question, but I don't think that I'm an expert to be able to speak about it. So I don't think that them releasing a balancer fork necessarily hurt their peg token. So I don't think that's proper causation of that issue. Steven, it's something that I'm looking to do. I do have a meeting with them soon. I didn't want them to be rubbed the wrong way with me migrating liquidity. So I do want to work with them in some capacity about, something that we can do together and making sure that they feel comfortable and like how we can move forward best. It was nothing to do with like their service. They're an amazing company and they're an amazing DEX. This in no way, shape, or form was me trying to outperform them or do something different or look to sever that partnership. It's just that I feel like this is a niche that we can fill in the AVAX community, and it's a revenue service for our protocol. So it was strictly a business decision. What do you mean you're bad, Owen? Did you leak something? Yes, there's plenty to learn from them. They had the first movers advantage, and I think that there was a lot of things that we saw on the back end that could have been done differently. But they made an amazing protocol. So, Yes. Are you worried about during the transition of liquidity having an arbitrage issue that could drain one of the pools? That's why I want to have a plan set in place, and that's what the liquidity migration event's going to be about. But realistically, if you have a token that's at 60 cents, the arbitrage will keep it around 60 cents regardless of the liquidity over in Glacier. So, like, as the migration happens, it's not one of those things that will be effective. But like the less we want to get to almost zero liquidity in Trader Joe, just like for the purpose of making sure there is no arbitrage opportunity, and that's really what we're trying to mitigate by doing this liquidity migration. But it's awesome that we are going to be able to kind of reset the LP structure on Walrus with the Treasury owning over 370K or 362K. There's a lot of cool things that we can do. So yeah. Yeah, an anti-mev bot would be cool. I think Vincent would love to speak about that. And I think that that's a lot of things that you all should know is that like Owen's brain works at a spectacular level. He always has something up his sleeve or a new angle. He's an amazing biz dev, man. He's always trying to push shit.
You see that question you got on YouTube?
No, I didn't.
Just logged on. Do we need W share for the KDA miner?
Yeah, it'll be W share liquidity. And the reason that we're doing that is that if we own most of the supply of Walrus share, and we really cut the supply down to where it's almost not traded, and then there's like almost no sellers. We've dried out the sellers, right? And then we introduce this thing that heavily incentivizes buying Walrus share. What happens, right? We have a supply. We have the main majority of the supply. How are you as the user going to get it? You have to get it from the liquidity pool. If there's nothing in the liquidity pool because we own most of it, you can imagine the lopsided amount of buy pressure that adds. So that's one good benefit of it, and it's good to get that done right before we move over to Glacier, so that we have a really cool price point to set it at, which is why I said this was an accumulation phase. And I think that it's really going to benefit the APRs, which will then, of course, draw more people to Frozen Walrus naturally. Because everybody loves a good APR, right? 0.4% apparently isn't good enough. I don't know how. I think it's amazing for an asset that's proven itself and the team that's proven itself to be here for the long term and keep building. It's a great. I think Frozen Walrus is a really great protocol. I'm a little bit biased though, I guess, but I think that there's a lot that that we do that is good. So yeah, the current prices suck. I know that, guys. But I do think that there is a shit ton coming that will produce something. Yeah, Owen tells me that I'm the asset. Jumpman says the same thing. That I'm apparently what's different, but I don't believe that. I think that our community is what's really different. Are there any features you can alpha that will be a game changer and drive people away from Joe and others? Also, what's the best thing about Glacier that got the team excited? I'm the product. So I think that once me and Owen have some solidified stuff, there is some alpha to share about what makes it different for people that use Trader Joe on the daily. I think that people will be very surprised with the direction that we can take this, and how much forethought went into the tokenomic structure from Owen himself. So I'm really excited to share that stuff with you. I just don't want to be the person that shares it and then us have to, back it up and then say something different. But I am very confident that we'll have some stuff to show you guys about it, and that we are able to show you why we're going to be a little bit different than what's currently offered in the balancer deck scene. I'm gassing you up, Owen. Let's see what's next. Oh, and don't think I forgot about the big D word that everybody's been wanting. I do have conversations with that team quite consistently. We're just waiting to the liquidity migration, right? Because we don't want to lock liquidity in that regard to the same degree. With Trader Joe liquidity, we want to make sure that we've transferred over to our own liquidity first, so that we're locking up that liquidity. I think it's a much smarter thing to do. So we're looking, like a month in line. So yeah, that's where that's at. And then also, like, to lastly touch on what we have coming. Obviously, there's going to be a fee, a 6% royalty fee on the NFTs that will be revenue for Frozen Walrus, and then of course some of the revenue of what's minted will turn into protocol owned liquidity, which is great. And all of that to say, we have real revenue coming in through the KDA miners, through Glacier, in whatever regard we can do it. We have real revenue. We have 2 revenue streams coming up, and I'm very excited about that. Somebody asked what I'm most excited for about Glacier. Honestly, that I have a team that can build it, and I know that I'm very confident with the team that we have. I'm also very confident with the partnerships that we can acquire and how big leagues we can really take it now that we have such a serious team. So that's really one of the things I'm most excited for, but also that I'm able to live out my dream of developing a product that has 80 synthwave as a means in the back end to make it look really cool. I think it's like, people, when they hear Glacier, they thought it was going to be some cookie cutter shit, but really we went kind of left field with it to go synthwave. So I'm really excited about that. Does anyone have any questions? Anybody want to come up? Anybody want to say anything?
CDB's here.
GDB's here? Oh, I thought you said like he was raising his hand.
No, like on his gigantic iPad.
Oh, and also my YouTube videos, me and him are actually working on the back end. Speaking of GDB, I'm going to call you out here. That he is going to start editing my videos, so that we're going to start making, hopefully, if GDB's still down for it. We just talked about it today, so I think he is. That we are going to start making YouTube shorts. We are going to start making, like some informative content with YouTube shorts. Possibly get it listed on TikTok. I'm not a TikToker, so apologies. I'm not a TikToker, but we'll try. We're going to have like short burst information where we're able to get out more information to the masses. YouTube shorts, he assured me, was a great way to reach out to individuals. And I think that it will work out really well. So yeah, we'll have some YouTube videos that are properly edited. And I'm very excited for that, because I just don't have the time to edit them to the degree I think he could. Will there be
a Glacier animation when transition's complete?
What does that mean?
I think he means transactions. Maybe.
I don't know. You'll have to elaborate on your question. Are you going to continue the $100 in series? So I just checked it today, and we're actually up $40 on it still. And I haven't been compounding it at all, but I looked at it because I was like thinking about YouTube videos that I'm going to be doing here shortly. My goal is to get like a bunch of videos in line, and then have GDB edit them, and then like start like having like bi-weekly videos to really grow the channel. But yeah, so the $100 in series, we can either restart it or use the same. It doesn't matter to me, because again, I'm still up. So anybody that invested like a month into the protocol, if they just like didn't sell, would still technically be up. Like I think again, I have $20 of profit on the $100 in series, and the total position's worth 120. So I'm up $40. Is there going to be opportunities for the community to get into the Glacier early? Yeah, but at a steep price for those investors. And most of those investors are going to be like long-term investors. Like this isn't like a DeFi project, like a DGen project. This is going to be one of those where it's like you're locked in. You're locked in pretty heavy. And so I don't know past that if there's going to be any opportunities for early investors outside of that. Someone said hit the blunt. Forgot the AMA started. You're here now.
It started 42 minutes ago, bro. How long were you smoking for?
Is the DEX token supposed to be at a specific price, or will it be dependent on buy and sell? So it'll start at a higher price with the pools that we have, because of the way that they're weighted. It'll be like a 95-5 pool, and then after like a week or 2 weeks, it'll be a 70-30 pool. Glacier being the 70, and then AVAX being the 30. Yeah, so it'll start higher and then go lower, but we'll have a price point that we want to set it to based on the early investors that buy the investor package. So yeah. What else, boys and girls? Can you start back at the top for Dot Hack? No, he's gonna have to watch me at 2x speed. No, there will not be an LMS for the Dex token. Owen's pretty much guaranteed to a degree in writing that it'll be a token that is only up mechanics. So look forward to that. Yeah, it's not going to be one of those. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do with Glacier that I'm super excited about that Owen always racks his brain on. All right, let me retract that statement. I was just joking. Owen is developing some really cool structures to the token, though. And it won't just be a farm or lock token. There will be some other mechanics in play. Will Glacier be on BSC as well? I don't have any plans on migrating it or making it cross-chain, but I don't see how we wouldn't apply it to our roadmap at some point. What else we got?
Let's see here. Will Glacier have dark mode? No.
Glacier
Zero dark mode.
No, Glacier will only be dark mode, and there's nothing you can do about it.
All right, Dot Hack.
I'll let Owen do his thing. Owen, do you want to come up here and do that?
What features do you wish a Dex would have that none currently do on Ava? And that's an open question for everybody in the community. No one wants to know. Ooh, limit orders.
True that.
Can someone take notes? Austin, jot that down.
Get that. And then on It's Always Sunny. What else?
Tomorrow, I am not roasting anything. Sunday, I will be smoking some pork butt and beans with a giant spoon. Plastic only.
Oh, someone said before Glacier or KDA minor launch. They said, thanks for answering my question. So basically we have like about a month to accumulate these cheap W share. Yeah, I'd say so. I'll give you some more accurate depiction of when it's coming out, whenever things are solidified. I don't want to jump the gun on anything. Yeah, I see this lull period as a great time for long-term investors to either chill and make 0.4% daily or dollar cost average more, right? Because like we have a shit ton coming out and our team's just getting fucking bigger, and I just feel like we have the fucking right people and shit's really hitting. And it sucks that we're not in our stride on price-wise. But like all together, like I'm the most excited now than I have ever been for Frozen Walrus, to be quite honest.
Dino on YouTube wants to know, will Owen do a theme song for Glacier?
I don't want to make him, but I did tell him that he has to be on the team.
If our team is getting bigger, why is our TBL dropping?
I don't know how
short-sightedness.
I don't know how that correlates redneck.
They don't.
Sometimes when you're building in DeFi, especially in a shit market, the prices are going to do what the prices are going to do. And obviously right now investors don't have a lot of confidence in Walrus and Walrus share price action in the short term, so they've decided to become more liquid. But my team and the ability to produce content just got better. So if people don't see that vision, that's okay. It doesn't mean that we're not going to build, right? Agreed to what Owen just said.
Do we have some protocols in the funnel to onboard when Glacier launches?
I think that we will start seeing some. I know that there's a lot of people that are interested in this style of decks. For I really think that you are gonna be blown away. I don't want to say that and then like shoot myself in the foot, but I think that the amount of traction we're gonna get on Glacier eventually will be pretty substantial.
So how are we going to get new money? Do we have any advertising without getting the word out? We will not get new investment money. Redneck, did you just join by any chance?
So Redneck, I'll say this: I won't be advertising other than my own YouTube channel. I just won't. It gives the wrong investor. We don't need pump and dumps. But what you need to understand about Glacier 5 is that Frozen Walrus will be front and center on Glacier 5. People are looking to use the decks for whatever they want to use it for, swapping and whatever else. If they choose to stay, they're going to have the most incentivized pools by going to Frozen Walrus assets. Not to mention, we also have the KDA miners coming out. We have a lot in the short term and long term that brings a lot of price action to Frozen Walrus assets, right? So like I get your sentiment because the price is down and it's easy to think like, why aren't we marketing? Why aren't we doing stuff in the short term? I tried the short term game. I tried the PCP. It didn't work, right? So I'm pivoting to real revenue streams. I'm pivoting to real investors and making Frozen Walrus assets more valuable in that regard. That doesn't always mean that the price action is going to go up or that we're going to gain new investors from it. It does mean that we'll have a solid project regardless of sentiment. And investors can make calls on that because like we talk about, sentiment comes and goes, but like real projects will stand the test of time, and that's what we're trying to do with Frozen Walrus is make it stand the test of time, make it stand through the bear market, right? Hopefully that answers your question, Redneck. Like if you're wanting to be liquid in your assets in the short term, I can't promise you that you're gonna get price surges. Like it's not the time to have that. I'm tired of trying to build fake sentiment and structure the price around it. I want to build real products and make it a part of it.
The Peg Defender LP farm is visible but disabled on the website. Will that be going live, or has that been canceled due to the issues with PCP and needs to be removed from the website?
We may end up just canceling it and taking it off the website. Right now, I don't want to like say we'll never do it. But right now, I'm gonna have to find a more lucrative way for it to be implemented because I think as it stands right now, it would just hurt the Walrus share price. Edge, I have not thought about that, but I'm actually going to type that out. I'm just going to pin it. I'll look to get a partnership with an NFT marketplace. I don't know anything about Decentraland. Honestly, that stuff confuses me. I don't really get that whole thing. But yeah, Dylan's supposed to be working on the merch, so blame him.
It's done. Here, I'll pop her in there. Hold on. You said you want a hoodie. Does this suit your fancy? Get it? Suit your fancy?
John, I have spoken with Madrid. Again, I've spoken about him publicly that I hold him to high regard. I think he's a great guy. We actually come a lot from the same, we were cut from the same cloth, really, from being in a small town, being raised in a small town to like his values and stuff like that. And yeah, of course, he is definitely down to speak more about Glacier and getting his liquidity over there. I'm not confirming that, but I'm just saying that like the discussion is quite open because I do talk to Madrid a lot.
All right, this next product is for all the gamers.
That motherfucker's ridiculous.
Any gamers in the house need a new mouse pad?
You ever seen those boob mouse pads? What if we gave that to people with my face on it doing that?
Let's see here. I've also got this going on.
Jans, I like that approach. I'm gonna post that, and that can be something me and Owen can talk about. Stop typing, motherfuckers. I'm gonna open up a notepad and put that down. Me and Owen can talk about it later.
All right, and then let's see here. Does this have anything on the back? Yes, it does.
El Chavo, you said what happened to checking about ego bots. I just got really busy, and so I had to like back off of it really quick. But we're consolidating our treasury right now and breaking some liquidity. So I'll be looking into it again. I did talk to Loki from Thor, and they are doing a huge DD on some new trading bots. And once they actually do the DD on that, he's going to pass it along to me. I just want to make sure that I get like a full access to like all the different exposures to the bots. But I do want to produce one that works for the treasury. The best investment is yourself, Redneck. But in reality, the best investment short term could potentially be Walrus share. Long term could be Walrus or other assets that could be used in different regards in different protocols. Yeah, El Chavo, I'd like to know that too, Dylan.
They're all done. I told you they were done. We just have to build a Shopify website.
I think that could be done pretty soon. I've done Shopify sites, and that's exactly what Beyond's good at. And I think he has one developed for us. We just need to make it dark mode with our new logos.
I was gonna put out some more or some Glacier stuff too. I can design those to probably Monday. So
Did you copyright Frozen Walrus? No, I didn't. I don't think it's IP available. Like, I don't think you can.
sorry.
I don't think you can. So, I just I'll have to ask my lawyer.
Copyright the word glacier.
Get royalty fees off of it. Big brain.
All right, stop talking shit about Jumpman. He just got here.
Damn. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to cover.
Would it be possible to make some sort of a stats interface page for your own investments in Frozen Walrus, like a D-Bank, but for only Frozen Walrus?
I think that can be written down.
Sorry, Tampa. I didn't see that one.
We'll have a lot more opportunity once Jumpman gets the new website up. Regarding the Walrus Share LP, using the boardroom and Magic AC, that will grow the LP in time. Is my understanding correct that KDA Miner will be separate? We need to purchase some kind of NFT? Correct, Dino. You are correct. You would have to purchase something different with your Walrus share LP. You'll have to mint it.
Oh damn!
What we're gonna do right
That's a
here
much
is go
better shirt
back.
than anything I put out.
Fuck!
What is it?
I'm a walrus. What did you expect?
What are you doing?
Messing with the bot. My Discord's literally crashing on me.
Too many gifts.
I don't know what it is. All right, guys, that's gonna end it for me. My fiance is out of town tonight, so I am back on baby duty for the night. So Avery. So yeah, I'm gonna go up there and get them to bed. I appreciate everyone's time. I know that the prices suck. I do. I understand it. If you want to be more liquid in the short term, I get it. You had to sell out. Whatever you need to do for yourself, do it first. This is a long-term investment, and I've always said that. It's just DeFi mentality and psychology at play here. People want to reserve their liquidity, so they're selling now, either to buy back in at lower prices or to move on with their investment. That doesn't mean they'll never come back. That doesn't mean that the price will always be this low. I have things that I'm actually working on. We have the team to do it. Thank you for riding it out with me. And as always, do something positive in your community or for yourself, for your family, whatever it is. It'll make you feel better. And it's good to be a good person. You don't have to have some religious moral code. Just be a good person. Be a good community member here. We have so many great people in our community, and I'm so thankful to have what we have. So thank you for being here. Now it's time to pick the best question.
I posted all questions in previous Ask Me Anything and who asked them.
Oh, really? Sweet. Let me look for
And now I shall pick a random winner. And it's Jumpman.
Stop.
That psych. I just rubbed your W share moment. Let's see here. Popping it through. Deck 24. Deck 24.
Sabri 007 for the question. Congrats. No problem, man. Thank you for the question. All right, guys, that concludes this week's Ask Me Anything. Thank you, like always, for being here and listening to me rant for an hour every single Friday. And yeah, we'll see better days. We'll have more development next week than we did before, and we're going to keep moving forward and keep building. So I appreciate your time and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Night, guys.